Welcome back inside the Simplified Technology Solutions Intermissions Report. Austin Bruins, Minnesota Wilderness here on Saturday night at Riverside Arena. We'll get to the recap of the first period of action here in just a bit. But before we do, let's take it back to an interview that I had earlier this week with Bruins captain Connor Mylymok. Take a listen. Hey, Connor, thanks again for taking the time to come out here. I know it's a busy week with a 3-3. We really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, TJ. Always nice to get on here.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit. You're in your first year as the Bruins captain this season. So how's that going mentally for you and being the true leader on this team with the C on your chest?
Mentally, I don't think anything has changed. I've always had the same mindset with everything. See on my jersey or not, I'm going to do things the way I always want to do them. And I try and do everything the right way. So this having the C on my jersey is honestly, it's nice. Like it's nice to get that, and so coach to see that, out of all the guys, he's gonna pick me as the one. So, like I said, just one thing is I figured out this year, I got to be a little bit more vocal. I thought I'm usually more of a guy who likes to lead by example with my actions instead of my words. So that's one thing I've always been able to do. So, but this year, just being a little bit more vocal is definitely one thing I've had to pick up.
You're definitely one of those guys that you're one of the types that will speak softly but swing a big stick. So it's good to see that you do have that C on your chest. How did it feel? When did you find out that Coach Howard was going to give you the official? Because he's a guy that doesn't always name a true captain. We didn't have a true captain last year, kind of bounced back and forth between a handful of guys. How did it feel for you, and when did you find out?
It felt great. Steve, he told me it was during the season last year. I knew he had a conversation with me. It was just like a leadership meeting he had between him and myself. And he told me, start now. He told me you're going to be the captain next year. So start with these traits now. And so I kept it in the back of my head. I was like, okay, so I might as well. I was playing with older guys at the time. But I was still trying to be a leader. So that whole summer, the whole last season, I knew that, just back of the head, I knew I was going to be the captain. So it's something I was very happy to hear from Steve.
You got a late start to the season, and it's been a weird season in general with COVID and that 16-day trip that we had to the Dakotas and everything. So how are you adjusting now that you've gotten the opportunity to play in a handful of games here and get going?
I was happy to be back. I was home for a while. I got to miss I missed a lot of the games, a lot of quality time with the boys. I didn't even get to go on that trip to the Dakotas, so I definitely missed that. But it's just that one thing, just being away. I really miss being around the guys in the locker room, and I just miss playing the game. Still a little rusty. Still got to work on the little things. Take it step by step, getting back to my full game. But my first games back, I had a 3-on-3. I got cleared. I drove back the next day. I had 3 days of practice, and then I was hit with a 3-on-3. So I was pretty exhausted after that. But it was in a way, it woke me up for sure. It's like, it's going to be like this whole year. Late start, still trying to fit in the 60-game season. So I got to get used to these 3-on-3s, just taking care of myself off the ice. So yeah, it's a weird year, man. Like, just stuff. Not even being able to do as much community work around town because of the protocols, and then just like you said, the games is just so jam packed together, and every week this month is just three games per week, so it's getting tiring, but you got to get used to it. So
how do you deal with that as a player? How do you space out your time knowing that you're going to have 12 games this month and there's a couple of 3-on-3s and so many games in a row? How do you deal with that as a player? What do you do time management wise to make sure you're ready to go for the game?
It's recovery 100%. I mean, you got to take care of yourself. It's not something you can put to the side during a time like this. I mean, you got to take time after practices and after games to stretch and roll out, take ice baths. I mean, I've been using the Normatex. A couple guys in the team have them like crazy, so I've been borrowing them every week. But that's the main thing. Like, you can't just come into these weeks not, taking care of yourself and expect to have a good weekend of games when you're sore and you're beat up. So just taking care of my body is something that's definitely helping.
Do you think you're a little bit fresher than some of the other guys since you had that late start and you've only played in 10 games so far, whereas a couple guys might be in 20s?
I don't know. I'd definitely still say I'm towards the bottom of the pack. I mean, in terms of getting my legs back, it's tough. This 4 months of the season, you come back right into the swings of things when everyone's in game shape, right? So,
yep.
I'm not gonna I still feel like I'm in good shape, obviously, but I'm not. That's just the crucial part about it. It's tough hearing that from my dad and from Steve. So. Yeah, the other day, actually, Steve brought me out on the ice at 9 a.m. with a couple other guys, and he just skated us to get the wind back up. So, yeah, definitely still got a lot of work to do in terms of that, but I'm getting there.
By the time this February is going to be over, I think you'll definitely be there with the amount of games that we got coming up. When you look at this team, what do you think this team's personality is, and how do you think that this team is different than last year's team?
It's tough to say how different we are, because Steve does such a good job of telling us how we're supposed to play, and the roles we're supposed to bring in each game and each practice. So I feel like all 3 years I've been here, we've had a similar team of just a hard-nosed team and sticking to the way Steve wants us to play. So hasn't been too different from years past, but I would say, this year it's we got a lot of guys, so we're carrying a lot of guys this year, and it just feels like everything's just so much more energetic in the locker rooms, and guys are having more fun. There's so many guys in there, everyone's they're having fun. So practices are fun, locker room's fun. It's just, not too much different besides, the amount of guys we have this year.
Well, we're running out of time. I do want to ask you one more question, and it's about your commitment to Alaska Fairbanks. Tell us why you chose Alaska Fairbanks. I know you're a Canadian kid, so you're used to that kind of weather and that kind of environment, but why Alaska Fairbanks, and how you ended up there and what you're looking forward to and becoming a Nanook?
Well, away from the hockey side, I got family up there. My mom grew up in Alaska. My dad played college in Anchorage. So I've been up there a lot in the summers fishing, and I love it up there, man. It's just such a fun time, and you can't beat it. And for the hockey side, the coaching staff there, they were the first real team to reach out to me and show a lot of interest. And it was just a better move to go there. I really liked the coaches. I really liked talking to them. Obviously, I didn't get to go on a visit there. It's just with COVID, and it's super far north too, so I didn't have the time. But just talking with them and the amount of interest they showed, it just made me feel like, okay, this would be the smarter and better decision to go here. It's just felt right, So I talked with my dad a lot, talked with Steve, talked with my uncle, and it's just, as it came down, it is honestly, by the time they first talked to me, I was already committed within a month between that. So it was a fast process. So, it was just kind of a no-brainer for me to end up going there.
It's nice when everything just kind of comes together. Not only do you have family and you love it up there, but they're interested in you. It makes signing on the dotted line that much easier.
Exactly.
Well, Connor, thanks so much for the time here tonight. We're going to probably make our way through the roster 2 or 3 times here throughout the rest of the season. So we'll definitely have you back on here pretty soon. So I appreciate the time, and I look forward to watching you out there in your final season here with the Bruins.
Sounds good, TJ. Thank you.
That was Bruins forward and team captain Connor Mylymok. We got plenty more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned. This is Austin Bruins Hockey on Power 96 and Hockey TV.